2 3 2 3. Check 2 3 2 3.
Good afternoon. This will begin today's briefing for the Hurricane Laura response. I'm Brian Beam, Calcasieu Parish Administrator. Today is September 2nd and 4 p.m. and we are holding this briefing from the Parish Government Building. We do have some of the what I'll call regular reports, which are very important, and although they are daily, we have progress in each area, and I think we'll have some good news in some of those areas. And we also have a few other announcements today, but we will start, as we usually do, with Dick Grimion, Emergency Preparedness Director for Calcasieu Parish.
Thank you, Brian. A couple of additional commodity distribution sites have opened, and I'm going to read those. Westwood Elementary School, 1900 Sampson Street in Westlake, and one at Washington Marion at 2802 Pineview Street, Lake Charles. And just to review the ones that were already open, Civic Center, 900 Lakeshore Drive, McMurray Park, 300 South Hazel Street in Sulphur, Ioway Middle School, 401 North Miller Avenue, Ioway, Walmart Marketplace, 200 Sam Houston Jones Parkway, Railroad Museum, 400 Lake Charles Avenue, DeQuincy, Vinton Elementary School at 1610 Hampton Street in Vinton. And just our regular safety message, please remember to practice safety with your generators. We've had 5 people die from carbon monoxide poisoning since this event all started, and we like to prevent more than that. Main thing is keep it out from under your house or shed or carport or your house. Still way too much traffic. I'm sure Chief Caldwell is going to comment on that. Way too much traffic moving around. Particularly, I was surprised after the curfew, and I want to remind everyone we still have a curfew in effect. And lastly, we're getting a lot of phone calls about the evacuation notice. We are under a mandatory evacuation. We have been under a mandatory evacuation since 2 days before the hurricane. I know a lot of people are asking that. There kicks in some features of their insurance policies. We will post that on the police jury website. You can go there, get a copy of the declaration. And with that, I'll turn it back over to, Teresa, any questions? Okay.
Thank you, Dick. You can start noticing as we do these that we're in day 7, I think. It's we need to kind of help each other out. So in the law enforcement report, you're going to see some alternating reports from either Sheriff Mancuso or today we are glad to have Chief Sean Caldwell, Chief of Police Lake Charles, and he's going to give the report today, and he will introduce Stitch Guillory with the Sheriff's Office right after.
Thank you, Brian. Yeah. Like Dick just said, ladies and gentlemen, we're still under a mandatory evacuation. We have a curfew. In essence, if it's dark, don't be out on the streets. We're going to stop you. Police are going to stop you. You will be stopped. Expect it. I can't stress enough about traffic and traffic safety. It is plumb dangerous out there, what you see on the streets. There's far too much traffic. People are riding around, looking at things. We have assets from God knows where that are trying to traverse our parish, our city, and help us restore electricity. And the shame of it is people are out there impeding that progress. In short, the more people on the road, the longer it's going to take us to get electricity. So please, if you don't have to be on the streets, don't get on the streets. Again, we're not telling you not to go get the supplies that you need, but if you can stay off the streets, by all means do. Be responsible for all of us. Remember, all these intersections, treat them as four-way stops. Again, the out-of-town assets don't know that there used to be a red light hanging in the air there. Only we do. Slow down. By all means, slow down. Please slow down. All right, to the crime report, total parish-wide, what was reported is a total of 12 arrests. The sheriff's office had 4 looting arrests, 1 domestic, and 1 out-of-state detainer. The police department, Lake Charles Police Department, had a looting and an ag assault. Sulphur had a looting and a weapons violation. Again, and I hate that I'm sitting up here talking about it. We can't hammer it home. We can't say it enough. But we had another carbon monoxide incident. Luckily, so far, they haven't perished. But an Ioway reported that someone has been transported to a hospital for carbon monoxide. And they also had a public intox arrest. Before I introduce Stitch, you have anything, Teresa? So Chief Deputy Stitch Guillory is going to give an update to you guys.
Thank you, Sean. We just want to give an update on our double homicide that occurred in Iowa, Louisiana. On August the 29th at approximately 7 a.m., Calcasieu Sheriff detectives were dispatched to a home on Thompson Avenue in Iowa in reference to Joan O'Brien, 73 years of age, and Zoran O'Brien, 81 years of age, deceased inside their home. During the investigation, detectives learned that Scott M. Kidd, 36 of Kinder, a longtime acquaintance of the victims, was possibly responsible for the murders. He was arrested the following day on August the 30th on unrelated warrants in Eunice, Louisiana, and was transported back to the Calcasieu Correctional Center where he is still being held. Earlier today, after further investigation, detectives issued a warrant signed by Judge David Ritchie for Kidd to be held with a no bond for 2 counts of first-degree murder. Other agencies assisting us were Jeff Davis Sheriff's Office, the Iowa Police Department, the Louisiana State Police, and the Calcasieu Coroner's Office. If you should have any information related to this murder, please contact Detective Travis Meir, who is the lead investigator at the Calcasieu Sheriff's Office. I just want to reassure the community of Iowa that we have the person responsible for this. Your community has always been a safe community, and it really shocked us to see something like this happen in that community. But at the end of the day, we're going to hold the person responsible for this. So we appreciate all the cooperation. And like I said, if anybody has any information, please contact Travis Meir at the Calcasieu Sheriff's Office. Any questions, Therese? Next, I'll bring up Colonel Conroy from the Louisiana National Guard, and I just want to tell him a big thank you because these guys have been a lifesaver for us. Colonel Conroy?
All right, thank you, Chief Deputy, and Chief Caldwell, thank you, mayors, members of the police jury, thanks so much for having us here. Again, like I've said every day, it's truly a privilege to be here in Calcasieu Parish, and I'm just going to give you a quick update. We, as Mr. Gremion said, we've opened 2 more pods in the last day. I'll be frank, we've got troubles getting ice in. It's a statewide problem. We're working it. It's one of the 4 things we offer: water, ice, tarps, and civilian MREs. So please trust me when I say that we are really working as hard as we can to get more ice in, especially on these hot September days. We currently have 339 soldiers and airmen in the parish for security. Again, to reiterate, we are working the security as the sheriff's office asks and tasks, focused on a lot of static sites. Those ones you can imagine, gun stores, pawn shops, pharmacies, those real targets for the ne'er-do-wells that may infiltrate while we're here working so hard to rebuild. We have moved in the last 24 hours 8 passengers and 6 cats. So we still have some folks in Calcasieu, and I believe there probably are some more. We'll work closely with the EOC on the reassessment next 48, 72 hours. Those folks are moved into out of their devastated area over to Chenault Airfield, and then moved on further inside the state of Louisiana. Cleared 536 miles total. We're kind of done with road clearing. It's a good news story for all the agencies that have contributed to that. We've still got assessment teams out there and route clearance teams to the extent that they're necessary. Right now, our engineers are focused on schools and government buildings. As of this morning, we've done 41 of 63 parish-wide government buildings. I expect that to be almost complete tomorrow. And we'd done about 8% of the schools. And what we're doing is we're just getting the debris out of the parking lots and moving it to the side. On the government support side, we're now full up. We've got 2 government support teams from the Louisiana National Guard here. And I'll end as I started. It is a privilege to be here, and I'm ready to take any questions. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Colonel. We're going to switch the order of things a bit. We haven't given an update in these briefings lately on the status of hospitals. So we are pleased to have Liz Harmon here, the ESF Medical Services Coordinator who works with all of them, and she will give us an update. Liz?
Thank you, Brian. Currently, in Region 5, all our hospitals' ERs are open. All the hospitals many of the hospitals are on generator and have limited water. We also have 3 DMAT teams, which are federal medical teams that come in and they're assisting Lake Charles Memorial, West Calcasieu Cameron, and Christus St. Patrick's. So their ERs are able to manage many more patients. Lake Charles Memorial saw 65 patients with their DMAT, St. Pat's 30 since they opened Monday, and in West Calcasieu Cameron, 89 patients. So that's a very much a credit to our community. Also, we have 2 dialysis centers that are open, and you can call their hotline to get your appointments and get in the rotation. And that is what I have. Thank you.
We'll next go to, I call it road debris clearance, but as the Colonel said, I think we're kind of wrapped up. But we'll ask out, there's a lot of other updates in this, let's just call it the debris and waste issue. Alan Wainwright, Public Works Director, Calcasieu Parish.
Thank you, Brian. Start with the roads. As Colonel said, the road program clearing and pushing is excellent. We're going to hold it at 95% complete because we know there's just a few little spots out there. It's really hard to get much more accurate than that, but basically all the roads are open for traverse. I want to remind people that, again, there's no signs out there, or very few. We are beginning to prop some up, put some of the four-way stops in place, but that's going to be a process. It's going to take a little while to ramp up. Also, it reminds you, it's been said earlier, that there are a tremendous amount of utility people in town and resources that will generally take up a lane in a lot of places. So you're down to one lane due to that particular, them trying to do their work. So don't blow by them, give them their space, treat them with courtesy. You know, they need that to do the job at hand. A little focus on debris before I go to the last item. Just quickly, the debris sites are making their way through permitting, so we're probably just a couple days to maybe a week out from actually collecting the first loads of debris. It'll be a long process, several weeks, if not a couple months. I want to encourage people not to get over concerned and try to overstack the debris in one spot. It's going to be crowded on a lot of lots. You'll have to stack it a little deeper. There'll be multiple opportunities to move your debris forward or to get it. We'll work out the details of if you have to stack. So don't think you have to get it all up there right next to the road. We really would like to preserve some of the road and the shoulder, obviously, for the things we need to do, like make sure that your mailbox is where they can find it. The other thing is, the best news of the day is we're going to begin the parish-wide trash route starting tomorrow. We'll start on a normal schedule. We'll be putting out a press release on this after this press conference to reiterate it. We'll start on the normal schedule. That's been one of our goals since day one. If those routes remain successful, that'll really tell us that the road conditions are picking up. So your normal schedule tomorrow will be the Carlos area. That's sort of the southwest quadrant of the parish. Moves up to nearly the Houston River Road. So I would encourage residents in those areas, put your can out to the road for service tomorrow. Try and put it where it's noticeable, but not in the traffic lane. It's going to be a real chore for the haulers. I think we'll have 14 to 16 haulers in this zone tomorrow. So it'll be a real chore for those guys to spot those cans and stop and pick them up. There'll be traffic. So we'd ask you to, truly be patient with that process. We feel like one of the best services we can get back up to help you clean up around your house and get the remaining small things, household items, things that'll fit in your can, is to establish those routes. This will affect the perishable goods sites that we have tried to get up. So Our hauler is going to be down to probably 2 sites for the perishable goods sites. That'll be included in the update and the press release today. The locations and the times will be included in that. Normally, the haulers are not hauling on Saturday and Sunday, so we anticipate on Saturday and Sunday putting back up the 5 perishable goods sites that we've been having for the last couple days up and running now. So just encourage everyone to be patient out there, be safe, and with that, I'll take any questions if there's any, Mr. Trees. Yeah, turn it on, Mr.
When you were referring to the debris sites, are these sites only that are being permitted? Were you talking about just sites for the contractors or the public too?
That'll be strictly for the contractor. That's just a key step in being in the preparation for removing the debris from the roadside. Those sites, there'll be as many as 8 to 10 initially across the parish, which allows the debris haulers to pick the loads up and get it to the debris without having to drive a long way. It'll ultimately allow for a more efficient collection and disposal of that debris. Thank you.
Our next area is utilities. We do not have an update today from Entergy or Beauregard Electric, but we certainly know the story there. So I just know it helps to keep telling everybody how many resources. You've heard already at least two speakers talk about how many utility trucks are out there. There is so much going on, but it's going to take some time. Water systems across the parish, a little bit brighter story there. We started out, I think this is a parish number, not just region, with about 128,000 households without water, and we're down to roughly 65,000 structures without water, or maybe they're limited or out. So that is great progress, more to come, but it seems daily there are improvements with water service provision. I want to mention also, before we get to some of the individual assistance speakers, a very good news story. We heard from Lake Charles Regional Airport Director Heath Allen today, and it's been in a news release that American and United flights have resumed out of Lake Charles Regional. He tells us a total of 112 taxiway lights and 18 runway lights were destroyed, but they are now lit and functioning. The airport lost 70% of its hangars, that's a lot, and 12 aircraft. Both airlines are doing away with change fees. I don't know what that is. I wish I should know, but I don't. Rental car services are still operational, so that's good news from Lake Charles Regional. Well, now switch to our individual assistance reports, and we do have Jerry Stoller here with FEMA. We appreciate him coming up.
Thank you, Administrator Beam. During a 24-hour period yesterday, there were over 3,800 residents of Calcasieu Parish that registered for federal assistance, bringing the total number of registrations for this parish to 55,357. As of yesterday, there was almost 6.3 million in FEMA housing assistance approved for those who have registered for federal assistance. So again, continuing to make, I think, good progress on the registrations. And I again want to remind everyone that you can register at 1-800-621-3362 or at www.disasterassistance.gov or by downloading the FEMA app. Operation Blue Roof, which is managed by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, is a no-cost program that gives homeowners safe temporary roof protection until permanent repairs can be completed. Anyone interested in this program can register by going to the following site: usace.army.mil/Blue Roof. And that's all one word. And I'll repeat that one more time. USACE, so that spells out USACE, .army.mil/Blue Roof. All one word. Those interested may also call 888-766-3258. That number again is 888-766-3258. And I just want to remind everyone watching that you do not have to register with FEMA or be registered with FEMA in order to apply for the Blue Roof program. And that pretty much concludes my update for today. Are there any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Next, we'll hear from Ed Bush with the Red Cross, American Red Cross.
Good afternoon, everyone. Ed Bush with the Red Cross. Again, it's our privilege to be here, part of this historic rebuild. Here in Louisiana, not a whole lot of change to our priorities of effort. Our focus remains on points of distribution, communication of needs, and damage assessments. We'll talk points of distribution. Statewide, throughout Louisiana, Red Cross fed at 24 sites spread over 9 parishes. Here in Calcasieu, we're currently feeding 5 sites. We had 6 yesterday, but we've paused one of those. I'll run through those sites now. The 3 Lake Charles sites, the first one is at 2000 Moling, and that's at the Allen August Annex, and they're feeding twice a day. All of these are feeding twice a day, noon and 5. The second site is 2401 4th Avenue, that's at Huber Park, and the third is 935 3rd Avenue, that's the Market Basket location. In Sulphur, we still have a feeding site at 300 Hazel, that's McMurray Park, and in DeQuincy at 915 East 4th Street, that's the dry goods store. Today in Calcasieu, we served over 2,000 meals. And again, a note, we're very excited that Southern Baptist is on the ground and getting set up in DeRidder, and that will vastly improve our ability to feed and get food to outlying networks and outlying parishes as well. And I'll let you know when they're ready, and we're ready to get that up and running. In addition to food, we continue to provide disaster emergency supplies. Again, that's cleaning supplies, rakes, brooms, mops, buckets, gloves, all those type of things. And we still have 3 active sites today. The Market Basket location, the McMurray Park location, and the Huber Park location are all providing DES. I spent some time in Iowa this morning, and I know we're adding them now also as a DES drop-off site and get them on the grid for starting to receive those supplies as well. Regarding communicating needs, we're all over Louisiana, spending a lot of time wherever those impacted, and trying to stay connected. People just like myself trying to stay connected to those parish officials and those people who can tell us where to get help. A note on our workforce here in Louisiana. Currently, the Red Cross has 678 staff and volunteers from across the country, with another 160 either en route or being in process. And I would just add a note on volunteers. We absolutely need volunteers, both on the ground and virtual. So if you're afraid to get in the mix and maybe get on the ground, we can certainly use some help planning and organizing, tracking data virtually, and we can put you to work. Super easy to volunteer. You can go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS. Pending your questions, that's all I have for you tonight. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ed. I want to mention also there are so many agencies or organizations involved in the relief in terms of similar to FEMA and Red Cross. Salvation Army is one of those, and they have established 16 active feeding units here in the Lake Charles area, so we really appreciate them as well. We're coming toward the end of the briefing, but we want to hear from a couple of our officials. First, we have Police Jury Vice President Brian Abshire.
Good afternoon. Not much to report today, but things are looking up. Things are getting much better. We had a good visit with the governor today. We have been able to secure 2 C-130 airplanes for mosquito control. Our planes are still available in the parish. Unfortunately, they can't fly low enough. So because of, electricity and debris. So we have the 2 C-130s that are going to make some passes over, and I know it's going to make a lot of our residents' lives a little easier. So that's all the good news for me today. Thanks. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Just want to clarify, these will these planes belong to the parish, or is someone just distributing chemical or mosquito repellent for us?
I'll let Brian. They do not belong to the parish, no. But yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Brian. Okay, the way this works, like anything else, you have to request through a process that goes through the State Emergency Management Office, or GOSEP, who then tries to acquire the request. In this case, I honestly don't know the ultimate provider of that, if it's Air Force or a contractor, but these are large, very large planes that can fly at thousands of feet to disperse chemicals parish-wide in order to be effective. We do have 2 planes at the parish, but as Vice President Abshire said, they have to fly like at 300 feet, and it's just not safe. So for lack of a better phrase, this is bringing in the big guns, because we are hearing more and more, literally just the last couple of days, of mosquitoes becoming a bigger problem, and this is what it's going to take. We do not own, this is simply a flyovers with these, I think it's 2 different planes. I'm not quite sure. I don't want to get off track, but it's kind of acquired through the chain.
Okay, and are they doing all of Southwest Louisiana, or just Calcasieu Parish, or do you know?
I don't know for sure. We can find that out, and I don't want to overcommit because we have to request it through Calcasieu. That's just the way the process is set up. I can only answer for that. I do believe, I can say, I think pretty safely, Teresa, that I know they're working with the other parishes affected, but they will just coordinate with those particular parishes as well. I might ask, I don't know, maybe Colonel Conroy, can you help me as to how would that be done through Jeff Davis Parish directly, for example?
Yeah, Mr. Meany, what happens is you'll make the request, and to the extent that they can consolidate them, you can't turn those tight corners like around Bell City. To the extent that they can consolidate the requests across, they will do that. There's not an Air Force aircraft. It's a commercial.
Thank you. Okay, commercial aircraft. But yes, I'm sure they're working on the logistics of trying to help probably Cameron and Jeff Davis, maybe even Beauregard. Is that kind of right? Does that help?
Thank you, yeah.
Okay, we will hear now, our last speaker is Mayor Nick Hunter of Lake Charles.
Thank you, Brian. Good afternoon, everyone. Continued progress for the city of Lake Charles and Southwest Louisiana. We touched on it a little bit yesterday about our water system. And what we're very comfortable saying right now is within a week, we will have sufficient water capacity for citizens of Lake Charles, for them and their families to function at their homes, unless you have a particular water break at your home. And I can't tell you how gratified and excited I am to tell that to people. Because literally 4 or 5 days ago, we were very concerned. And I am a praying man, and I believe that God has had his hand in some of the activity that's going on right now. The work has been miraculous and we are doing everything humanly possible. So within a week, we believe that we will have enough water for citizens and their families to function at their homes. Electricity, obviously, a little bit different story, but City of Lake Charles Water is moving mountains right now. I had the chance to meet with the State Fire Marshal this morning, Butch Browning. I touched on this yesterday. I'm going to say it again just to recap. So honored and so proud of the coordination that's going on right now between local, state, and federal agencies. The Fire Marshal has knocked on every door in the City of Lake Charles. And I'm not talking about businesses, I'm talking about residences. The Fire Marshal, working in coordination with the fire department, has knocked on every door in this city to check on people and make sure that they know the options available to them right now. And I want to touch on that again. We are still encountering people who are here in Lake Charles, and we're trying to visit with them about their options, and those options still exist. Today, we are able to bring people, and we're hot-shotting people to Chenault. I think Chief Murray in a moment might tell a story about something we did last night that I'm very proud of. But we are bringing people, city employees bring people to Chenault, and then from there, they are heading to safe locations. Hotel rooms are obviously the first priority, but we realize those are a rare commodity right now. But I can guarantee you that there are locations that will be a lot safer and probably more comfortable than some of the structures that have been damaged right now in the City of Lake Charles with no electricity in this September heat. If you are in the City of Lake Charles, or if you have friends or family members in the City of Lake Charles who want to take advantage of that, please call 491-1354. Water leaks, again, another very important number. Please call 491-1442 to report water leaks. Lastly, I'd like to call up a couple gentlemen that have had many years of service with the City of Lake Charles. When Hurricane Laura was approaching, a lot of the decisions that were made for the City of Lake Charles and for our employees were not made in a vacuum. They were made with the consultation and the recommendations of our department heads. And our city employees have busted their tails. They have worked hard, and I'm so proud of every department. We spoke yesterday, or you heard Kevin Heisey, he's our utilities director, speak. So I want to offer a chance today for Chief Caldwell to say a few words, and also Chief Murray. But I also want to stress to our employees, there is an administration at your departments, and that communication between you and your departments is essential. But also, hey, I'm the mayor of Lake Charles, and at the end of the day, the buck stops with me. And if there are any city employees that want a chance to visit with the mayor, I guarantee you I'll make that time for you. That is one of my top priorities right now, to make sure that our employees are getting what they need. So I'll say it again. We have administrations, we have department heads, but there's also the mayor of Lake Charles. And if any city employee wants a chance to visit with the mayor of Lake Charles, if they have concerns, I will absolutely make that time for them. Okay? So at this time, I would like to call up Chief Sean Caldwell just to say a few words. And Chief Caldwell is our Chief of Police and has 28 years experience with the City of Lake Charles and LCPD. Chief?
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, hey, the men and women of the city, all of the men and women that's working for the city really are working very hard, but in particular, the ladies and gentlemen at the Lake Charles Police Department. Guys, we've been humping it since before the storm, like many of the other agencies in this room, and just we're here to protect you guys, to protect the city. You know, I'm not going to have a great story like Chief Murray might have, but our guys don't mind passing out. We see somebody and we've got some video footage of it. We see some people that are hard on their luck, like many of us that have lost their home or have damaged their homes. You know, we're trying to pass out MREs and water and just make life just a little bit brighter for some of these people. But we're going to make it through it, all of us together. Every day there's progress, and that's all I got, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate you. And also, Chief touched on something that sometimes the public forgets about that a lot of these men and women with the police department, the fire department, other agencies, they have also lost their homes. They are also working, trying to scramble to find daycares or childcare and also take care of their homes. And so we're all human too, and we're in this together. I'd now like to call up Chief Keith Murray with the Lake Charles Fire Department. He is a 32-year veteran of the Lake Charles Fire Department. Chief Murray.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to start off by letting the people of Lake Charles and remainder of Ward 3 that Lake Charles Fire Protects know that all of our stations are fully open, our trucks are fully manned, and we're ready to respond to emergencies. We were from day one, letting you know there was at no time that you were down except during the storm where we were not operating because of the winds. Now that that's said, I need to thank the men and women of Lake Charles Fire Department for all of the work that it took prior to the storms. We have so many facilities, all of our stations, that they had to make sure that we're safe. During the storm, we weathered our in the stations. Afterward, they went out, they did all the emergencies, they put out all the fires, we made all the rescues, we helped with evacuations. We did everything that was basically asked of us, and we still do. I know everyone keeps mentioning that little story that we had. Our guys fight fires, they do extrication, we do hazmat, but once in a while you get to do something fantastic for one person that makes you feel really good about what you do. Last night, it was late. I got a phone call from one of my assistant chiefs that said that a young lady, it was a lady, I can't remember exactly her age, I want to say young or old, but a lady had got caught in a scam for evacuation. I don't know how she got the phone number, but they went and picked her up, dropped her off at a local bus station, took all of her belongings and left her stranded there. Someone at the bus station told her to call the fire department that we could help. Our people went to pick them up like we have all through the parish, all during this time. But it was after 6 o'clock. That's over at Chenault, they're no longer taking people after 6 o'clock. So they called me and they said, look, what are we supposed to do with this person? I made a few phone calls with the mayor, John Cardone, and between going back and forth, the decision that we made was that there was no place, there was nothing that we had here in this parish that could help this person out. So we found that she had the nearest people that would take her in Lafayette. So last night we thought that the best thing to do, in despite of everything that we've been making hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of runs, but we decided to put her in a vehicle last night and drive her over to Lafayette to make it right for her, to make sure that, same thing, to make sure that we were just doing the right thing as people. So, I don't know if that's really that fantastic of a story or not, but for us, we felt very good that we made that one person's life right, and that our boys felt that, and us as leaders felt that we did right by that citizen. Again, guys and gals of Lake Charles Fire, thank you so much. You've done a great job. I don't think any of us could have asked any more of you.
Thank you, Chief. And once again, all departments, I'm so proud. I've never, even though in the midst of all this craziness, I have never been prouder to be mayor of Lake Charles than this moment right now, from both the performance, the dedication that I'm seeing from our city employees, but also from the public in general. It is unfortunate that it sometimes takes a natural disaster for us to see the best in humanity. But we are seeing the best in humanity right now through this. And that is the end of my comments, unless there are any questions. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
We appreciate all the reports today, very helpful information. We will have our next public briefing tomorrow, which is Thursday, September 3rd at 4 p.m. Thank you.